In this training video, I'm going to go over what equipment descriptors are and how they compare to an equipment item. I'll go to the equipment setup screen, and when I open the screen I notice I have my screen tabs, equipment groups, equipment descriptors. Okay, so what is an equipment descriptor? Well, sometimes it's helpful to say what it is not first, and what it is not is an actual physical equipment item. It is not a piece of equipment that you go out and do work orders on, log downtime against, use spares on, and so on. Okay, so what is an equipment descriptor and why do we need them? Well, an equipment descriptor is a piece of text that we're going to use to build our equipment item list. The reason for this is it gives you consistency in the naming. Say, for example, you have multiple 90-degree roller beds. It's easier to come in here and just create them quickly by using the descriptor, clicking the New button. Notice it goes to the next 90-degree roller bed. By taking the equipment index, linking it to the descriptor, and then building your equipment display name. The equipment display name is the physical equipment item that you'll see when you're creating work orders. It is the equipment item that you will actually do the work on, and actually all things in the program will link back to the equipment in some manner. Okay, so what we've done here is we've used the equipment descriptor to help us build an equipment display name in a consistent manner. Now, that being said, there's nothing that says we can't come in here and change this. Perhaps we want a different asset number on here, for example. Okay, you can put whatever you want in here and save it. There's that one. However, we still have this part that we can use if we'd like. Okay, so that's all equipment descriptors really do. So, how do we create one? Well, we'll click the New button, and let's just say, for example, we have some, say we have two Solaire 50 horsepower compressors and 200 horsepower Solaire compressors. So what we'd want to do is, first we need an equipment group called air compressors, for example. You can name it whatever you'd like. I see that we don't have that, so we'll begin by going to the equipment groups, click the New button, and I'll just create a new equipment group called air compressors. Okay, save that, and now I'll come to my equipment descriptors tab and I'll click New. Okay, so there's my air compressors group, and I'll put in Solaire 50 horsepower, and maybe I'll do a Solaire 100 horsepower. Okay, and notice they're linked to the equipment group. I click Save. Okay, so I now have a couple of these new descriptors in here. Here they are. If I want to edit them, I can just select them, make my changes, then click Save, and so on, just like any other record in the Main Smart program. All right, so what are we going to do with these? Well, one thing we can't do with these, and this is a common misconception, is we can't go out and write a work order against this. We have to create it in our equipment items list first. So let's do that now. I'll go to the equipment items tab. I click New, and I'll just stick with my line and work area location that I have by default. And in this case, I can click on here and I can see, well, I've got a lot of descriptors in here, but what I want to do is I want to limit it. Oh, there we are. Okay, so I have my Solaire 50 and my Solaire 100. And if I increment and decrement my equipment index, notice it goes to Solaire 50 horsepower number 1. Now I might just want to stick with that. I'll click Save, click New, and Save. So now I have two 50 horse Solaire compressors. And now I want to go ahead and do the 100 horse. And I can do that. Click Save, New, and Save. So I've created 4 compressors is what I've done here. And we can look at those very easily by looking through this list manually if we want, or we could just click on the equipment groups radio button, pick air compressors, and there they are. Okay, So from here, if we wanted to move them to a different line, for example, or whatever we wanted to do to modify this record, we could do that very easily from here. Okay, so these are the actual physical equipment items in this leftmost column. So we've created 4 equipment items. We used our descriptors to help build the equipment items, and the equipment items are linked to an equipment group through the descriptor. Okay, so how would we use this? Say, for example, we want to create a work order. I go to the work order screen. I click New. Pick air compressors. Pick my 100 horse. And then I can also pick tasks from the task group. Again, like an equipment group. But this is related to grouping up tasks. And save. And I've quickly got a new work order with the desired piece of equipment. Turn off this, and there we are. There's our work order. So that is how equipment descriptors work with equipment items and equipment groups.